right before you step on stage, right before you pick up the phone, go on the date, walk in the door, do the thing. Like fear is going to be the strongest. It is going to show up so hot and heavy with all of its best friends, things like sabotage and self-sabotage and perfectionism and procrastination and imposter syndrome, right? To stop you. That's fear's only job, because fear knows when you walk through that door, when you step on stage, when you write the book, you will change. And fear hates change.
This show is all about helping you up-level your life, including your well-being, your relationships, your mental health, your wealth, your confidence, and your joy. I challenge you to keep an open mind as together we discover tips, tools, and advice from the experts to help you live life to your fullest potential. Welcome to the Jenna Banks Show.
Hey there, and thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited to bring you my guest. Her name is Judi Holler, and you are going to get some amazing takeaways from this conversation. I can guarantee you that this woman drops gems left and right. Not only am I constantly inspired by her almost daily, but I'm also a huge fan. And she's also just an incredible person in general. You're going to absolutely love her. I promise you that. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on Judi. Judi Holler is a keynote speaker, podcaster, best-selling author, and an entrepreneur who believes the future belongs to the brave. For the last decade, Judi has built an enterprise that includes a robust speaking business, a top 5% podcast on iTunes, and a publishing arm that has created a line of personal development products that has gotten the attention of clients like the Four Seasons, Ford Motor Company, Marriott, Bank of America, T-Mobile, Boston Red Sox, the Ritz-Carlton, and a whole bunch more. Judi's professional accomplishments have earned her praise with Forbes and Success magazine mentions. Additionally, her podcast, Yes and with Judi Holler, highlights her professional improv training as an alum of Second City's Conservatory in Chicago, bringing thought-provoking ideas and inspiring weekly interviews to help elevate your mindset and take more confident action. Each year, Judi speaks on stages around the United States and beyond to audiences of 50 to 50,000, sharing the power of the CEO mindset with her thought-provoking and captivating speeches. Judi, thank you so much for being here today. I am looking forward to this conversation. It's so nice to finally get to meet you virtually. I want to say face-to-face, but it's not even yet quite face-to-face.
It's the new world. Like, this is the new way to be. Well, there are a lot of ways to be face to face. And I think so much of that is coming back. People are just like craving connection more than ever. But this is a great way to do that as well. And I think this is just like, I need another way to say it, but it is like the new normal, right? Like, and how cool, Jenna, because we get this opportunity to like see each other, even though I feel like I know you from Instagram. So
I know. I feel like I know you too. In fact, you were so kind to do a blurb for my book. Yes. You got an advanced copy, and you were just so generous with your time and gave me that blurb. I really, really appreciate it. You've just always been so open and willing to connect. And I think that's really important, especially with us women, connecting with one another, supporting one another, lifting each other up, right? And you definitely do that. So I appreciate you so much on so many levels.
Of course. Hey, I'm here for it. I received that compliment. And yeah, I mean, a lot of times I get asked, like, what's your secret? Like, what's the secret to success? And the word success is strange because I think that looks different for everyone. Like, for somebody listening right now, success could literally be like, I did not hit snooze this morning. Like, I am winning. Like, or success is just like, I'm healthy in this body today because I have been struggling or whatever, right? Success is sleeping good at night. Success maybe for some of us is a bestseller list or a certain stage or money in the bank, whatever that may be. But anyway, I'm asked that question a lot. And you know what I say to your whole point? I always say, how did I get to where I'm at today? So much help from so many incredible people, women, men, humans that have come before me, that have done it, that have been generous enough to add value to my life. And a lot of the reason I got that value is because I asked for it, right? And like a lot of times we don't get things in life because we just don't ask. So maybe you'll get a no.
True.
Ooh, but maybe you'll get a yes. And that's exciting, you know? So we got to ask, and that takes guts, you know? Courage
I
is a
love
thing.
that. Yeah, it does take guts and then conquering fear, right? Which is what you're
Yeah.
all about. And certainly the reason why we connected because I did reach out and I did ask and look at the results of that. So I love that that brings us right to one of the biggest topics that really I think got you started down this path, right? Of writing your book and your keynotes and stuff like that was fear, no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In fact, I've got your book right here. Look at this. I was just noticing that it's worn out from the sun because it sits on my bookshelf right over here and
It
it
makes
gets
me
so
so, oh,
I
I love it. It's just, I love a book. I love a worn, it's like a good pair of jeans. I love a book that's like, I think is, I don't know about you, but as an author, like that's my dream. Like to see someone's book like marked up and highlighted and flagged and tattered at the edges. Like I'm surrounded here in my office by like the books that have changed my life the most. And yeah, I call on them all the time, you know,
Yeah,
and
me too.
um yeah, I mean, I think as an author, that's I love that. I love that it's been on your shelf and you look at it every day. I think that's amazing.
Well, Fear is My Homeboy is such a badass title. I mean, come
Thank you.
on. And this, oh, everything about it, I just absolutely love. So, what got you going down this path of addressing fear and facing fear and becoming the fear boss that you are?
Yeah. Well, so to unpack it a little bit, I think this is an important lesson. I think so many people y- I got asked on an you know, we do a lot of press and I'm sure you do as well. Interviews, Q&As, people in your DMs, and another question I get a lot is, okay, what, and it was a really I wouldn't say a lot. So let me edit myself. I don't get this question a lot. I got this question recently and it was really awesome. And I want to steal it so bad for my podcast when I talk to entrepreneurs because I love it. She asked me, what do you think is harder, starting a business or maintaining the business?
Oh,
And I go, what I want to say is both and yes, and, but my answer is going to be the answer to your question. Starting,
mhm.
starting is always the hardest because what happens is fear becomes the strongest right at the finish line. Like right when you decide, okay, I'm going to go speak. And that's a Stephen Pressfield. If you haven't read the book War of Art, holy cow. That book,
Really?
oh my God, Jenna, run and get it. I read it multiple times a year.
Okay.
Like I'm launching my first course and I have been deep in the weeds on that book because he writes about the resistance. And one of the notions Stephen presents in the book is that right before you ship, right before you, I have goosebumps, like right before you step on stage, right before you pick up the phone, go on the date, walk in the door, do the thing, like fear is going to be the strongest. It is going to show up so hot and heavy with all of its best friends, things like sabotage and self-sabotage and perfectionism and procrastination and imposter syndrome, right? To stop you. That's fear's only job because fear knows when you walk through that door, when you step on stage, when you write the book, you will change. And
Mm.
fear hates change. So the reason I share that story is it comes back to the beginning. I began as a personal branding speaker. I was delivering free talks like in my industry. I was working in the hospitality industry because I was building this like profile and brand and filming videos and doing all this fun stuff like playing with social media on the side and just really it was, you know, sort of really illuminating my career in sales and marketing in the hospitality and hotel industry.
Mm.
And people were asking me, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? How are you doing it? How are you doing it? So I just like, okay, let me create a talk and start giving it in the industry for free and leading breakouts. Maybe I'll start a newsletter. Maybe I'll start talking about it on social. And I did. And what I learned, so again, the start, I just started knowing secretly
Yeah.
that performance and speaking and all of that was like low key in my energy. I went to school for radio, television.
Mm.
You know, I had always dreamed. I did speech meets in grade school and throughout high school, like winning regional competitions, but it just lied dormant for years. But I was presenting in sales and it was like where I was excelling and shining, right? The sales presentation. So anyway, I'm building this brand and I'm giving these talks and I started becoming like a little Inspector Gadget because after every talk, I would get all kinds of questions. And the question I was getting wasn't about, tell me more about Twitter, or give me all the logistics of Instagram. And like, they weren't asking me tactical questions. They were asking me really deeply rooted fear-based questions. It was all this concern over, what if I get it wrong? What if people make fun of me? What if I look stupid? What if my boss fires me? I don't know what to say. It's not good enough. It's not smart enough. Where do I start? How do I create? Where do you come up with your ideas? And I was like, fear, fear, fear,
Yeah.
fear, fear. Meanwhile, I'm studying by night improv theater at Second City in Chicago. So by day, I'm doing personal branding talks, hearing all these conversations about like lack of confidence and fear. And by night, dancing with discomfort on an improv stage. And I said, hold up. See, this is creativity. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's like taking two things that don't normally go together and making something magical. And I'm like, okay, people are talking about personal branding and improv isn't new, but what if I smashed improv and personal branding together and made something new? So I started running with this new talk called Personal Branding Improvised, that really took off. And I started slowly addressing the fear that holds us back from branding ourselves the way we should. And that evolved and turned into really just solely a conversation on fear that became its own body of work, and eventually a book and a whole brand. And now I do keynotes around the globe on courage and facing fear. And I don't talk about personal branding anymore. I love marketing and I love branding, and
Which you do a great job of, by the way. Oh my God. You guys, if you're not following her Instagram account, oh my God, please do right now. If you want to get a lesson on personal branding.
Did you see my rap the other day?
Yes. Oh my God. You have such a solid personal brand.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just taking those risks, and just, I think if there's anything I've learned over the years, certainly as it relates to dancing with discomfort and fear, you have to really be on a mission every day to like rub those edges of discomfort and joy. Like, what brings you, like, I'm surrounded by like disco balls right now as we talk, like, what brings you like the ultimate joy? But equally, what discomfort are you willing to take on in order to go play with it more? Right? Like, if you want to speak, you got to dance with the discomfort of speaking. Like, if you want to write a book, you have to dance with the discomfort of sitting down and writing the book and scheduling time and saying no to people, right? Like, if you want to have more love and like, if you want to find love, you've got to deal with the discomfort of like going on dates and like doing online dating or whatever, right? And dealing with jerks and all the stuff, right? So like, hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. Like, what do you want? So, I'm always trying to lead in that way. Like, how do I show that I am a student of this work? Because the truth of the matter is this, Jenna, like, you may not know this about me, but like, I am one of the biggest fraidy cats you'll ever meet. Like, yo,
really?
Oh my God.
No.
Oh,
never, ever
Jenna,
guess.
I am scared all the time about the weirdest things. And I think the older I get, the more scared I get. But yes, and I have a really high tolerance for pain being failure, pain being embarrassment, pain being self-doubt, right? Because I play with it every day. Like, I play with my fear.
In sales too, right?
Yeah, and like, I play with it. Yeah, rejection, like pitching, like all of it. I'm like, okay, didn't work. Cool. On to the next one. So that's the only difference between me and anyone else is I work with it. Like, I really, and that's the advice I give on stage. And certainly the red thread of my work is you've got to experiment with your fear every day on purpose if you want to really face it and live more, right? Like, you have to play with it, So I just play with it.
I love it. I'm glad that you mentioned that about getting on stage. That was one of the biggest fears that I had in life besides heights. So I still have a massive fear of heights, and that is one fear I do not need to confront. I'll be honest with you.
Yes, babe.
But the stage thing, I was like,
you would regret the stage thing.
Yeah.
You might not regret jumping out. Like, I'll never regret. Like, I have the regret meter. Like, this, you bring up something really beautiful here. Like, yo, if you will not regret like, I will, like, I think people assume you have to jump out of a plane or like free solo Mount Everest to be brave. No, but if you will regret not climbing the mountain or not getting the tattoo or not jumping out of the plane, you got to do it. So like, I have no desire. Like, I will not be 80, 90, 100
Yeah.
I'm in my, like, did you notice what I just did there? I'm living 100. So when I'm 100 in my little sequin jacket and it's time, it's my last day on this earth, I will not lay there and go, oh, damn, I wish I would have jumped out of that plane. I
Totally.
like
You will
literally
not
won't.
be that woman. I know.
But I would have regretted not starting a speaking business, not writing a
Mhm.
book, not putting
Mhm.
myself, like, whatever, asking for what I want. So, like, yes, Jenna, that's the measure. Like, we need your message on stage. We need you on stage. And, you know, that would have been a regret of yours. And so you can avoid that now because you're dancing with it, right?
Absolutely. Well, not, I mean, not to, I'm sure this happens to you as well. Like before you get on stage, you still get a little something, but now I've been through it. I know, oh, you got this, Jenna. It's
I
not a
get
big
nervous
deal.
all the time. Yes, of course. I always say don't trust a speaker who isn't nervous. They
Yeah.
probably need to get, they're either lying, which just be yourself. Why are we lying? Number two, they might need to get out of the game because I think the
Mm.
second I stop getting nervous is like the second I'm like, like I need to make a switch. I love my
Mhm.
nerves. My nerves remind me that I care, that I'm
Yeah.
alive, that the stakes are high, and that I'm about to go do something extraordinary. It is my body
Mm.
preparing myself to go really do something extraordinary. And that is
Yeah.
the difference, you know?
I
And
love
so
that.
you have to be nervous. Like, it gets you ready for that moment, you know? And the best part about it, you know, there's probably so many people listening right now. It's the fear of like 90% of people in the world that are like holding themselves back from really stepping on stage and shining. And like,
Yeah.
listen, once you take it from two people who do speak, like once you, I don't know about you, Jenna, but like once my feet hit the stage and I'm about 30 seconds into it, you literally go into flow state and you
Totally.
just become, yeah, and this is what rehearsals and preparation and
That's
all
right.
that's for, so that you could just go
Mhm.
into flow and love yourself and trust yourself and just use your notes and your tools and the things you have to just move through it. But once I'm on stage, like 30 seconds in, it's like, I forgot about it. You know, I'm not nervous anymore. I'm just like in it, you know?
Yeah, I wanted to get into this a little bit later, but now is the perfect opportunity because we are talking about speaking. You just started a new speaker training school, right?
Yeah, well, so okay, it is called Speaker School, and it is where it's a course, a self-paced on-demand course where I teach you the business of keynote speaking. So it's experiential. It's a
Mhm.
course for people who are interested to see, feel, and find the confidence to step on stage and shine. So it's really for two people, Jenna. It is for the person who, like me, wants to. I am a keynote speaker. Like it's for the person who wants to go be a keynote speaker and step on more stages, but it's also for the person who has a business, like an already existing
Mhm.
business or a brand or products, and they know that stepping on stage will help move those products. I don't know about you, Jenna, um, but I wrote a book. Like, I was a speaker first, and then I wrote a book.
Right.
Okay. And I wrote a book because I knew it would help my speaking career. It's like the best
Right.
business card on the planet. And
Totally.
I knew those stages would help me move books and grow
Yeah.
my following and build my list. So I don't care whether you want to be a speaker or you have a business. If you have anything to say or sell, a stage is going to help you do it, whether it's a
Mm.
podcast or an actual live stage. So, how do you find the stages? How do you rock it when you
Yeah.
get on it, right? How do you
Yeah.
prepare? How do you write the talk? How are you pitching to get on the stages? How are you rocking when you get it? And then what are you doing on the other side of the stage to really leave a legacy and keep the conversation going, like leveraging every opportunity? So I've been in business for 10 years, built and scaled a
Mm.
7-figure speaking career, and I just am sharing everything I've done over the last year to help people do it. So that's who it's for. And thank you for asking. I'm so excited about it. We open registration May 8th. We have a live landing page right now that people can go learn more about. But, you know, I really think like coming back to like facing fears, like there are so many people listening right now that have a book, that have a brand, that have a business, and they are missing opportunities because they don't understand how to seize them. They don't understand where to look for them. They don't understand that it's possible for them, or they think, okay, I get the opportunity. What do I do? How do I deal with what is audiovisual? What does that mean? What happens when my slides go down? Like,
Mhm.
how do I leverage the opportunity? How am I turning one gig into the next 10? How do I get
Mhm.
paid? And then what happens when I leave the room? Like, how am I following up and how am I keeping the conversation moving? And
Yeah.
these are the things that I've been able to do over the last decade. But there are people missing opportunities every day because they're afraid. And a lot of the work in the course is just confidence and managing our mind and dealing with fear so we can pitch and sell and speak and just slay life, you know?
I love it so much. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Now is this in person or is it online?
On demand. So it is, I went in and recorded. There are 3 acts. We're kind
Okay.
of positioning it like a rock show. Like you're the rock star. You're going to buy a backstage pass to come see the show. And I recorded 3 modules so you get to hear from me, self-paced on demand. There's about 5 hours of content, about
Okay.
50 different downloadables. But the twist is that it comes with where you pay once, you get it for life. Like
Oh my
anytime
gosh.
I update, like it is yours forever. Like
Okay.
anytime. So when I get my first 40,000 person arena, I'm going to learn a lot in that experience. So boom, I'm going to go in and record a module on it. I know I'm going to make a module already on everything I've learned creating a course, like a little baby module. Like here's the things to do, not do, save yourself time, money, energy. So like as I grow, the course will grow and you'll get it all. You pay
Yeah.
once and get it for life. And then the other thing it comes with is me. So for 6 months, you get me and my keynote speaker friends. And so every month we go live and we break down the different pieces of content. But most specifically, I'm going to bring on my speaker friends that are $100,000 speakers, bureaus, agents. Like we're going to break down all the content and just give you more insider access. So like I'm putting the lineup together right now, some of my favorite friends in the biz. And so it's just going to be, a lot of value and a lot of downloadables and resources that someone can have for life to just sort of go build and extract from it what they need based on where they want to go with their career. But yeah,
Oh,
I took Marie Forleo's B School back in 2013. I
oh
don't know
my
if you know.
God. I
I
do. I
am
haven't taken it, but I know the
oh,
B school.
I
Yeah.
am an old school alum and I get it for life. I kind of go through it every year a little bit and she adds stuff like pitching scripts and all kinds of really cool
Mm.
stuff that I use all the time. I spent $3,000 on that course and it literally changed my life and my business. I built a multiple 6-figure business at the time within like 2 years. And then throughout all my speaking coaches and courses that I've invested in have scaled this business. So the course game can be the real deal when it's done right. But the question is, are you ready? Are you
Mm.
brave enough to
Mm.
sit down and do the work? Are you ready to face your
Yeah.
fears
Yeah.
so you can step into the arena? And that's the larger conversation, which is, essentially why we're here today. So, thank you for asking me about it. I mean, Jenna, I am so excited about it. Can you tell this is something like
Yes.
that's been on my heart? I'm
I
like,
can
I just
totally
want it to
tell.
get out in the world. I'm like, I need it to just be out in the world. Like I'm dying to hear what people think about it.
And I can tell by your posts because I follow you on Instagram and I definitely see your posts almost daily. The evolution. I can tell you're fired up. Like,
I'm
I can
changing a little.
I
Yeah,
see it. I see
it's a
it.
revolution, it's a transformation, and I think I'm in the pocket, and
Mm.
that all takes time, but it definitely takes courage. Like you just have to like. I got on Instagram, y'all, the other day. So I work with this incredible team of creatives, and my business is really led with design strategy first. I
Mhm.
love visuals. I
Gorgeous.
love things that are sticky like that and catch attention. We've got to think about how we're going to stop someone's scroll, whether we're pitching in a subject line or we're creating content, right? Like, how is this going to make someone feel something, right? So my team has pushed me. Like, I, oh my gosh, I have been doing these little made up raps for as long as I can remember with like my people. And the people that know me the closest know this. And everybody that isn't close to me calls me Judy Booty. Booty's like my nickname. And my creative team's like, we need a rap. We need a rap. We need you to sit down and write a speaker school rap. I go, you're kidding me. Get out of my office. Like, this is the stupidest thing. And fear, 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 discomfort, discomfort. But inside, I was like, joy, joy, joy. Right. And so I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to do it. I got to make fear my homeboy here. Like, I got to be the fear. I cannot, like, this is what I do. So I sat down and did it. And Jenna, the response, like, from women like you are like, you know what? Thank you. Like, thank you for the
Mm.
permission slip to stop taking myself and my business so seriously. Like, to
Mm.
just be more of myself, to go play and to have fun. And of course, we're doing serious work here.
Mhm.
But I'm always trying to think of thought provoking and a little re- thought reacting ways to sort
Okay.
of get people to, stop and listen for a little bit. But yeah, I just did a rap. And if that tells you anything, talk about facing fear. I took my own advice, but I love
Mm.
playing that game. I love
I
playing
love
that.
it. I can't wait to see how that evolves, but I can definitely feel the creative energy and spark in you through your
Thank you.
social, and
I'll
it's
send you a link. I'll
very
send you a link
please.
so you can sync up to all the things, but it's
I
open
would love
now.
that. All right.
judiholler.com/speaker school. Yeah, pretty easy.
I was literally going to just ask you. So thank you. So judyholler.com/speaker school. And that's JUDIHOLLER.com.
Yes, holler, holler.
Hello. Hello.
Like
I
literally
love that.
born with that last name is kind of meant to be, I guess.
I love how you, made that like a trademark word. Holla. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
we are. I'm like, why not? Low hanging fruit. Like it is who I am. It is literally tattooed on my body. It is my born last name. And, it's really also an anthem to just and a permission slip to live out loud. You know what I mean? And to be able
Mm.
to be leading that conversation is really cool.
So I want to get back into fear a little bit because, well, actually moving off of that into high vibes. Now you had all this stuff you were doing. Was I think after the book? Was it in follow up to the book with the high vibe or the vibe? With
Vibe and Thrive Planner. Yeah,
yeah.
we've renamed that to Possibility Planner. And to be honest, God, that is a methodology I live by, I use every day. The way we're going to repurpose that might look different. Again, we are in those conversations right now. Like the planner game is a hard game to be in because it's very expensive. And then you have
Yeah.
to go overseas and 3PLs and just
Yeah.
distributing and printing. And it's just, and to make it the way you want it, what makes that work really unique. So basically, this is what Jenna's referencing is a goal focused planning system. We use the science backed approach of working in like 90-day windows to achieve like long-term results because like
Mm.
guys, the world is changing every 5 seconds, like hello, post
Yeah.
COVID and just COVID,
Yeah.
like anything can happen at any time. So what makes the planner unique is our daily pages. So we really have this massive spread that not massive, but it's a 2-page 1-day spread. So we sell them in quarters and it's just a lot of pages.
Yeah.
So
And you got
it's
to
right now,
refill, right? Yeah.
yeah, right now it's like an online, it's a downloadable PDF and people can
Okay.
buy it. It's a little, it's not as travel friendly as I'd like it, but I tell you the work in it is, and the ideas in it is transformational. And so, yeah,
Mm.
that is a resource we have. It's now called the Possibility Planner. It may evolve as
Mhm.
I continue to evolve over this next year, but the work isn't going anywhere.
Okay. All right. So, all right. I was going to play off of that and go into the high vibes thing because I've been thinking about this lately. Fear is a low vibe kind of a
Yeah.
thing, right? It brings your vibes down, tells you can't do stuff. Who are you to do that? XYZ, give it up, and right, like you said earlier, right? As you get to the edge of thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. And then you just don't do that. And I found myself doing that a couple of times and it sucks. And your
Yeah.
vibes
Yeah.
feel low, right? Because then the self-doubt comes in and then
Yeah.
you question everything. And it's such a low vibration versus the high vibes, the positivity and possibilities and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I love the juxtaposition of, fear and seeing fear for what it is, this low vibe place to just going to the high vibes. Can you speak to that a little bit? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, everything is energy, right? And so what we're talking about is vibrations. Like everything has a frequency, everything has an energy, right? Whether it's human beings or money or sometimes the weather brings an energy,
Yeah.
right?
And
Um
just to stop you there, when you say money, you have heard about money being called currency is another name,
currency
which is based on the
is
Latin word to something about current, to
yeah.
flow. It's an
Heck
energy.
yes. 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 Oh my God. That is a whole nother podcast. Like
Mm,
all the games you can play with
mm,
money, energy, and the ways we're blocking it because we are like low vibe words, like even like the word want
mm.
indicates that you don't have something. So it's desire instead of want. Like another thing I see people doing all the time, like people brush off compliments. They can't receive a compliment. Well, if you can't take
Yeah.
a compliment, how can you ever receive money? Like receiving help,
Mm.
compliments. Like if someone wants to put your bag in the overhead bin and say, "Yes, sir, thank you so much. I'll take it. I love your like Jenna, I love your top today. I love that papa pink on the collar." You're like, "Thank you so much."
Thank
Right? Like you
you.
find a quarter on the ground and you celebrate that currency in your path, right? Like those are games you can play and all of that opens up. It's an energy. So to your beautiful point, about vibrations, everything's like a frequency and a currency, and you can play with that. But I also think there's a separation, and this is maybe a tactical, less woo-woo response to where I think you're going, because there is the whole toxic positivity thing. And the reality is things are going to get hard and tough stuff's going to happen. And you're going to have days where you feel like poop and you do not feel good and you are crabby and you are irritable and you are not in the vibe. Okay. But here's the thing. You say you get the flu, say you get COVID, you have COVID, you have the flu, but you are not COVID. You are not the flu. Like if you are afraid, you feel fear, but you aren't fear, right? Like if you are feeling disappointed by someone, well, you're not disappointment yourself. And so I think for me, that is the little tactical thing I do when I am in the weeds on something and I'm going into like a low frequency, like, take the course, for example. Oh my God, no one's going to register. What am I doing? I'm going to look stupid. I'm putting myself out there and people are going to steal my stuff and blah, 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 all this stuff, right? Low vibe, lack, fear, scarcity, right? How do I rewire those signals? Because that's what fear wants. Fear's strongest at the finish line. So I remap the signals with, I am, you start, I Jedi mind trick it with, these I am power statements. I've been writing in my journal, like the exact number of people, like a psycho. These are the people I want to register, like the exact number. I'm calling in a certain number and I'm writing it over and over and over. Every day I ask for a certain number, a certain feeling, a certain response, a certain thing. Like I'm asking for what I want instead of allowing. So I just try to cut the cord, right? Because I know what fear is trying to do. And I think the thing for us to remember when we shift into that low vibration frequency of fear over trust and love and courage is that fear's got one job and one job only, to stop you. And fear is always the strongest when you are on the edge of something big. So great. Good. That means you're doing it right. Go feel it, but you aren't it. And if I am scared, I know I'm on to something. And we just can't allow the lingering feelings of disappointment and jealousy and resentment and all this other stuff to hold us back, because that's what they're designed to do. And so it's okay to feel it. Just don't be it. Feel it. Write it out, walk it out, run it out. I don't know how people don't work out. This is what I say all the time. If I didn't work out, Jenna, I swear to God, I'd be a crazy person. I need to get it out, go see it. My therapist, my journal, and my gym. Like that is where it all goes, right? That's my algorithm to success. My journal, my therapist, and my gym. But seriously, like it needs to go somewhere. So write it out and get back to work. Talk it out, get back to work it out, get back to work.
I am so glad that you brought that up. It's not that you have to deny it, stuff it away, drink it away, whatever you do to get rid of the discomfort. It's okay to let it be what it is, but don't identify with it, I think is what you're saying, right? You're not it.
You are not it.
Yeah.
Right? You aren't it. Like just because you feel jealous doesn't mean you are trash or a jealous person or not worthy. It's a feeling you're having. Cool. Are there clues in that? Because a lot of times for me, jealousy is a trigger. Someone said something. Oh, I have to read this to you. Oh my God, this is so good. Please. So I went to this event last night. Oh, this is so good. Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes.
She was referencing, so jealousy has this thing, and she was talking a lot about friendships as you gain a certain level of success or your life changes. Like I don't have kids of my own, and I'm an entrepreneur, and a lot of my friends are in a very different circle. So our lives we're still close and all these things, but our lives are ebbing and flowing. And you're going to run into people as you evolve and grow and rub the edges in a different way than other people. You're going to open some things up for people, right? And she said, when someone is feeling triggered by you, it typically means you are at a place that they aren't allowing themselves to go.
Oh, good.
Shout out Lori Harder. That was Lori Harder. She wrote a book called Tribe Called Bliss, and she's phenomenal. And I was like that because I have done that with women. Like I remember when I was in the speaking game. I mean, I talk about this in the course. I'm like, she's nameless, but I'm like, there was one woman. I was like almost obsessed, like to the point where like I was so stuck because not obsessed in a bad way, but like I couldn't create anything. I couldn't find my own identity because I was so jealous of the success she was having, right? That I was like, oh, I'm not allowing myself to go to where she's going because I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not pitching. I'm not advocating for myself. I'm not asking for what I want. Like, so hold on, I ruminated in that for a while. So hold on, what's the break here? The break is like what I'm seeing in her is she's somewhere I'm not allowing myself to go. So what if I could set myself free from that by like studying instead of hating, by consuming, and instead of getting into a cycle of comparison, start creating because I'm so inspired by her, right? And you know what else, Jenna, I heard on a podcast 2 days ago, and this has still got me shook. This is a Brene Brown. This will blow your mind. You might have heard this, and it blew my mind. I had never heard it. I feel like I know all the Brene. She goes the opposite. And this is why I was feeling kind of ragey, not ragey, but like anger and like resentment around this specific person. And just in my life, it would manifest in my life in bad ways. Because Brene says through all her research, the opposite of creativity is rage.
Oh,
right. So sit with that for a minute, right? Because I judged it for a minute. I was like, no way, I am not a rage person. And then I started thinking, I'm like, when I am not living in my purpose, I'm not, and your purpose is what happens to other people when you do what you do. When I'm not living in my purpose, when I'm not creating, when I'm not playing, when I'm not having fun, when all I do is work and email and grind and go, my husband gets the worst of it. I'm rude on the road. I'm impatient in line at the grocery store. I take it out on my sister. I'm mad at everybody else. And I'm like, oh, I see what happened there. Right. So that's how I know, like, think about that, like pent up, like repressed self-expression manifests as rage. So people who are angry are probably overworked and understimulated and last on their own list and not doing anything they love. And that is a freaking choice. Is it easy?
So
that's a choice.
That is literally, I was just on a podcast earlier today and we had that discussion about resentment. So I have this analogy called the power container. And if you're not charging yourself up, if you're not practicing self-care, taking care of you first, prioritizing your needs, understanding that self-love is not selfish, you drain yourself, right? You're doing all the stuff and you're wearing yourself thin. And what manifests? Resentment. That's how you know you're not taking care of yourself and charging yourself up. And also makes sense, being creative, filling yourself up, doing the things you love to do, being creative and all that. So you're absolutely right. I love that.
Good, Brene. All hail. I want to go. It's on my long list because we're in the middle of launch, but I am going to go read. I got to go find that body of research and where she found, because what a beautiful, it shook me. It really shook me. And I was like, because I didn't expect that. I'm like, rage. It feels so, but so I want to hear her, sort of thought process on it, but it really made sense once I stopped judging it and I started really thinking about it, but yeah, again, this vibration.
Totally. And I listed off the subject, but it got me thinking about the opposite of love is fear.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people would put that together. I think most of us would think the opposite of love is hate.
Yeah. It's fear.
But it's fear.
It's usually like if someone is like, that's in all my years of like really having conversations about fear, specifically over this last decade, like that is one thing that has helped me so much in like business. Like when people react or when people make excuses or when people don't, there's abundance and then there's lack, there's love and there's fear. It makes me, instead of like being so, because I grew up Italian. Okay, my God, half Italian, a little bit of Irish, a little bit of German, a little bit about like very hot, fiery mother. You know what I mean? Like it is, I like a good little argument, and I'll throw a lamp against the wall if I have to. You know what I mean? To make my point. I'm better now, but you get what I'm saying. Like I will throw a lamp against this wall. Like don't you come at me, right? So therapy, just trying to stay in the zone and all the things. I'm a student of the work, but like truly, like when in business as a leader, like people are going to do things and things are going to happen and people are going to come at you and in all different ways inside your organization and out. And you have to be able to go, okay, what is she afraid of?
Yeah.
What is he
Yeah.
afraid of? Because there's, and I think hurt people hurt people. And I think when
Yeah.
people come at me and I'm so lucky I haven't had a lot of that. But when you put yourself out there, things are gonna happen.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's okay. So bless it and move on. But most of the time, hurt people are hurting people, and there's usually something they're afraid of. I take it back to the speaker, person that I was reacting to or
Mhm.
feeling jealous of. Well, what was I afraid of? Jealousy is
Yeah.
is a fear trigger. So what was I afraid of? Like, oh my God, there's not enough for me. She's getting
Mhm.
it all, and there's not going to be any room left for me. Or, oh my God, I'm never going to be good enough. Or how will I do it? Or, oh my God, it's easy for her to do. She's got A, B, C, and D, right? We do this. Or, oh, Judy, easy for her. She doesn't have kids. Like, there's a million things we do to justify our own misery and our own lack of inaction and our own BS. And so,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm just tired of my own BS. So, like, I know what I'm doing now and I can stop myself before it really becomes a problem. And again, I think, it's all a game, and the game is discomfort. And the more comfortable you can get in discomfort, the more comfortable of a life you'll live, whether it's conversations or decisions or putting yourself onto stages. Like, you have to dance with discomfort in order to like break through, and come off autopilot. That's the truth.
Powerful, powerful words of wisdom, Judy. Thank you so much. And by the
You're
way,
welcome.
thank you for your vulnerability and just putting yourself out there like you do. You're so
Thank
humble and
you.
gracious and forthcoming with your struggles. And I think
Thank
that's really
you.
important. We should, there's a lot to learn from that. You've definitely helped teach me a lot in that regard as well. Just be comfortable being uncomfortable, including like sharing, your vulnerabilities and the things that you're not so proud of. But
Yeah,
that's how
for
people
sure.
relate, right? It's
There's
okay to
so many. There is so many, and I'm going to continue to fail and to make them and to get it wrong. But cool, because that's my next best story. That's
yes.
my next best. I live and think in metaphor. I think meta, but I also think in metaphor, right? So it's meta to think and live in
Oh,
metaphor
don't get me
as
down
a,
the meta track.
yeah. So my meta thought for the day is that, I sort of live and think in metaphor, and I really like liken myself to a DJ, and like my job is to like take things that inspire me. Like this is why it makes me so sad that there is an energy, and I feel like it's starting. I feel it. I feel people catching on to it, but the whole energy of like canceling people. I think creativity is just, we are all borrowing from the universe. Like, we have to be able to express ourselves and to create in the way that feels right to us. And if we're creating out of love, I don't think you can lose. And there's people that aren't. So that's a different story. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
your job is to take the things that inspire you in the
Yeah.
world and then go make them your own and turn them into something beautiful that's going to help someone else. And I think if you're doing that, you can't cancel courage,
And that you're expressing it in your own unique way.
in your
That's
own
the key.
beautiful way. And that's the
Yeah.
point. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
exactly.
not going to ever turn out right if you're trying to copy somebody else's style or whatever. You've got to figure out what makes you tick. Even if you think it's weird or it's not like anything else you've ever seen, even better. Do
It's
it.
probably right. Yeah.
That's
I'm
right.
always saying
Yeah.
if everybody's going this way, like when you watch this all the time, go on Instagram, you watch everybody run in the same direction. It's like, ooh, okay, great. That's where they're going. I'm gonna run the opposite way. Let's do something totally different. You know what I mean? And that's the stuff I've got up my sleeve right now. Like, how can we just do this thing that like no one sees coming? Because I think when you create your own rules and no one knows you have, you sort of rewrite. You like it almost makes you unstoppable in a really cool, confident way. You
Yeah.
sort of create your own little world, and that's a lot
Yeah.
of fun to watch people
Your
do.
own
So,
vibe. Yeah.
yeah,
You definitely are doing it. I'm watching you do it from the side, not sidelines, but from
you're in the
Instagram.
you're in the
Mostly.
front row. You're in the front row. You're in the front
I
row.
love it, Judy. Well, thank you so much for just coming on today, having this conversation with me. I know you're super, super busy, and I really appreciate you carving out some time. I'm super excited about your speaker school,
Thank
and I hope anyone who's interested and feeling a little maybe fearful, like, oh, like I can't do that, but it would be so scary, but it'd be so cool. Just do it. Just go.
Just do it.
Check
Well, I
it
tell
out.
you, I don't know when are we live on the air right now? Is this like
No,
airing right?
no, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
But you said yours is coming out May 8th, right?
Yeah, so we drop May 8th, but if you get on the wait list, like if it comes out before May 8th, I mean, the
Mhm.
wait list is great too because we're going to open up early for the wait list and someone on that list is going to get to go to a keynote with me. Like I'm going to fly them,
Oh,
all expenses paid, backstage, watch the whole thing to just learn. So I'm going to pick someone that registers early to go do that with me. So those are all fun little things that are happening. The landing page has all the info. And if you miss this
okay.
tour, it's okay. You'll have to wait. But it's going to come back I can't announce for sure if we're going to do another tour this year, but it'll be back
So wait, when does registration close then?
May 17th. So it's open from May
Oh,
8th to the 17th. We got a 10-day open cart, 10-day open cart. Yep.
all right. I'm going to rush this to get this on the air as soon as I can because I want people to have the opportunity to sign up. So thank you for giving me that information. So definitely go check it out. Do it scared, do it anyway. Judy, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you
Jenna, you're
being
the
here.
best. Great interview. So good. Cheering you on.
I hope you were able to get some really great takeaways from my conversation with Judy today. I know I sure did. Hey, if we haven't connected on social media yet, I would love to connect with you there. You will find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Jenna Banks.0, which is my handle there. But on LinkedIn or YouTube, just look me up by my name, Jenna Banks. And if you haven't already signed up for my email series called Love Notes to Myself, or my newsletter, or if you'd like to learn more about my book or hear about my speaking engagements, you can learn more at my website, which is jenna-banks.com. Thank you so much for tuning into the show today. I truly hope to see you again next time. And remember, your love is your power. Until next time.